first question is, do you know what an OC is?
Yes.
Yes.
No, I do.
That's an original character, I believe. I'm correct in my internet research.
Original characters, or in short, OCs. Some are involved in massive stories and comics with their own worlds, developed histories, and cultures. Some act as feel-good emotional support for their creators, some exist as offhand jokes and nothing more, and some sell for hundreds of dollars. Though OCs come in many different shapes and sizes, and for many different purposes, one thing can be said for certain. They are the dear creations of artists, writers, and creatives the world over. And yet, despite the worldwide presence of OCs, a relatively small amount of people outside of creative communities and circles know what an OC is. Speaking of which, what exactly is an OC?
It's by like a blatant definition, it's just original character.
It's not based on any other thing, although you can have fan OCs. Basically, it's literally just original character.
It can be one that you make for fun. It can be one that you put in your own world and story that you create. It can be an outlet for creativity of all sorts.
Creators such as artists and writers create characters naturally. It's just part of the process of creating fictional work. They can be made for stories, or they can be made for the occasional joke. Maybe they're just a mascot character representing the creator, or maybe they're just a nice visual design harnessing a particular mood or aesthetic which an artist wants to preserve in the form of a character. OCs can be entirely original, existing within a world and history created by the artist, an alternative version reality, or maybe not existing in the world at all. Many OCs are fan OCs. These are characters which are based off of existing works of fiction made by someone other than the creator of the OC. For example, a fan-made character existing within the Star Wars universe, but not existing within any actual Star Wars films or stories. That is to say, non-canonical.
Alright, I had a whole hell yeah.
When I was young, I had a lot of fun making up comics that I would get 3 pages into and then never continue. The oldest OC I can remember is Hot Girl and Water Boy, which, believe it or not, I did not think of Shark Boy and Lava Girl when I made that story.
The first OC I ever made was a gray and white cat with angel wings and a halo named Angel, and she got all messed up by a wolf and was by herself in the woods or something like that. I don't remember how long ago I made it.
I was in 3rd grade, 2nd grade when I made those. And I actually did finish a whole first issue of them, of how they got their powers and stuff like that.
So my first OC, his name was Creven, and he was based off of the Climber from this animation series called Law of Talos. And the artist's name was Unknown Person on DeviantArt, and I fell in love with the Climber, and I was like, I'm gonna make an OC off of this and name him Creven. So basically it's the human version of the Climber.
Water Boy's made sense because he ingested some bacteria in the water that allowed him to turn into a puddle of water. Hot Girl, she just got stuck in a house fire and then suddenly she had fire powers. There was no real sense to it, but nonetheless she had powers.
Back in the 1990s, the internet was just becoming accessible to the public, and with this new frontier came some of the first internet forums. These websites are used for discussion and conversation between users, one of the earliest examples of mass communication using the internet. Forums can be dedicated to a variety of topics, from fishing to theoretical physics to watching paint dry. As the internet grew, forums dedicated to fandoms became more and more popular. A fandom consists of everyone who enjoys a particular work of fiction. They are its fans.
There's a story I really want to start called The Familiars, and the protag is named Alexia Connors. She is an African-American girl who is a witch, and her parents are dead because they're both witches,
I have a character named Meredith who is a bat and also an ex-nun. So, she's pretty cool.
The familiars she inherits from her parents start talking to her.
One that I have is the protagonist of my current webcomic that I am working on and off.
Things that go like that.
Dex, she's a robot, and she wakes up one day completely, her hard drive memory's been completely wiped. She doesn't know who she is or what she was made for, and she's in a completely post-apocalyptic landscape.
I always draw her wearing overalls for some reason.
Humans are supposedly have all been wiped out, and there's a few remaining, like robots from past society still straggling around.
She always has to have her star earrings, and she has freckles, and she has green eyes.
A fantasy. So the other, I used to be a big fan of Happy Tree Friends in middle school.
I had an original Winnie the Pooh character.
You know, when you're in that phase, you're edgy and rebellious, and Happy Tree Friends had all the blood and gore, and of course I wanted to be into all that because that made me cool, right?
Before I figured out, like, oh, there's a whole community of different people with different sexualities and different gender identities and stuff. Before I found out about that, I had a girl character that was representing me for Winnie the Pooh. I was a ferret.
I made a self-insert OC to Flippy, who was like the psychotic murderer, and she was his girlfriend. So, and I named her Shady.
I don't know why. I think I might have been in elementary school or something. No, maybe middle school. But I was like, okay, let's get back into Winnie the Pooh. And I was like, I love Tigger.
I ended up completely retconning her personality, and she became her own character in her own series, but she was originally a plant character.
Yeah, she was a ferret who liked Tigger. That's really about it.
My Draenei, Juno from World of Warcraft. And I love her. She's a Death Knight.
Fans of fiction existed long before the dawn of the internet, but now they could congregate and communicate in much greater magnitude from around the world, an advance that changed the world of fiction entertainment forever. With this new explosion of communication, it became much easier for anyone who wanted to share their own characters they had created. As more and more creators started sharing their characters online, rough rules and terminologies were born into the vernacular, one of which was made largely to protect the ownership rights of a creator, OC. Ever since its creation, the term has become more and more common, and today it's nearly ubiquitous in creative communities, even taken for granted.
I made them. I'm their parent, so they're like my children, my babies.
OCs are a means of a person expressing their creativity. And I feel like it's really important for creatives to have OCs because they can put together different aspects of the self into OCs. It could be used as a coping mechanism. It could be used to like weave and create a story.
My OCs are a lot of creative outlet for me, and they also help me sort through a lot of my own problems. I project a lot of myself onto my characters, and I explore a lot of themes within that I experience myself. I have a lot of characters that I experience with anxiety and depression, and me having those things myself, I tend to explore a lot of those themes when I create my characters. And it's just a way to, have fun, make your own world, try out new things and ideas, and it's just something fun to do.
You can do so much with them, and since they're yours, you can do whatever you want.
Sometimes they're extensions of me, as I'm sure you might have heard from a lot of other of our friends, like, projecting. It's fun. It's really fun. If I want to see more of the thing that I like, I'm gonna have to create it, and then you're like, oh damn.
I usually make OCs to fill roles in stories I have. I usually make them to make me happy. If I like the like character design, sometimes I'll just like draw it for the sake of drawing it because it's fun.
I've learned that characters don't always have to be part of a story. They can just be characters you really like that look really cool. Look at the things that you're very interested in. You can combine things into one thing and kind of like make your own creature or your own character from that creature. Or you can base a character off of somebody. Sometimes those original characters can be, sometimes, if not all the times, are always based off of something from real life or something you're inspired by. Don't stress so hard over being super original.
I would tell them to collect a list of things that they enjoy and things that maybe perhaps like they would want to be if they weren't themselves, and just have a good time with it. Just like make something that you can have full control of and put in different situations and make up what happens. It's just fun. It's like playing pretend.
You know what? Do what I did and make a self-insert. You know, sometimes that ends up becoming its own thing, because a lot of times making a self-insert can eventually turn into its own character. If you have enough passion and love for that self-insert and you want to ever change it and put more ideas into it, you can totally do that. Or unless you can just, or if you don't want to do that at all, just take a very simple idea and make something special out of it.